So Brixton Metals, a multi-generational opportunity. We've managed to assemble a massive portfolio, really, and the main one is our thorn, which we'll talk about today, but I may be making some forward-looking statements, so I need to caution you on that. So we've put together a pretty solid team. We're a lot of geologists, but we also have some fundraising capabilities. Since we listed in 2010, I've led about $105 million for Brixton Metals to date. So we've been able to do okay on the fundraising side, and we've got some real talent here to drive the story forward. So our strategy is really to focus on building value on our Thorn project. It's really a copper-gold porphyry play. We managed to identify several new discoveries, and we're advancing on those. And just this last season, we actually got a couple brand new areas. Even after over a decade of work in this project, we found a couple of new large areas that never had boots on the ground. So pretty excited about that. And obviously, having attracted BHP to the story, the world's largest miner is our largest shareholder. They're here for the copper, so we hope to deliver lots of copper for them. And then in addition to that, over the last few years, we've been successful in attracting a couple of other notable companies like Ivanhoe Electric on our Hog Heaven project in Montana, and Eldorado Gold on our Atlan Goldfields project. So that provides a meaningful amount of capital to the company through option payments. So effectively our G&A is covered through these option payments, and it just allows the company to focus on its flagship asset. So here's our capital structure, trading at a remarkable 6 cents. I can tell you that my average share price is in that sort of 24-25 cents. A long-time buyer of this company. So I'm a little discouraged by the lack of interest in the sector, but not discouraged, and in fact continue to show promise on our project. The Thorn project continues to deliver exceptional results. But we have attracted some talent, and we have attracted some major shareholders like BHP. In fact, we have 3 billionaires and the world's largest miner as shareholders, so we must be doing something right. And I think it's just going to be a matter of time till the market perhaps wakes up to the opportunity that we have. And we're sitting on about, shows 15 million there cash. We're probably closer to 11 million dollars cash. So we're fully funded for the season, and we'll start drilling again in May. So we've got a seasonal opportunity, May till October. But good liquidity in the name as well. We're trading something like 150 million shares over the last 12 months. So we're in good shape. So where we are, northwest BC, we're actually north geologically on trend to the Golden Triangle. But Brixton has assembled the largest contiguous mineral claim in the province of British Columbia. Over 2,900 square kilometers under one name. We've got a massive sandbox here to play in. And why did BHP come in? They believe that we have a complete mineral system, and we got the sandbox to find multiple porphyries, and that's why we're calling it a multi-generational opportunity, is because we believe we've got more than one deposit here. I'm going to talk firstly on the gold, just to highlight where a lot of the work on this project was focused on this part, the sort of north-central part of the claim block, and you can see the 11-kilometer long gold anomaly. We've been working the Outlaw Zone. That's a 5-kilometer gold anomaly, but the last few years we've been having a lot of joy down at the Trapper target, which is the bottom 4 kilometers of this 11-kilometer anomaly. And it doesn't appear to be a porphyry necessarily. It's an epithermal system that we're seeing associated with base metal veins, but the gold is really at that contact between the diorite and the volcanics. And what's interesting about this target is we've got some really high-grade gold hits. This year we drilled 2 meters of 44 grams of gold, within 27 meters of 3.4. Probably one of our best holes on this target so far was drilled in 22, hole 205, 64 meters of 5.7 grams of gold, and including almost 30 meters of 10 grams. So some really remarkable gold hits. At surface, we're getting mineralization from surface down to about 400 meters depth. We have it to about 700 meters now in strike, and it's still really wide open. It is structurally controlled, so there's some structural complexities here that we need to sort out, but we're excited to continue to advance this target. We think there's good potential for multi-million ounces of gold here, It's still early. We've only had really 4 short seasons on it. Last year we only drilled 10 holes. So I'd like to see more budgets focus on this target, just because it's relatively easy pickings. Where this mineralization sits is actually on a ridge top, so potential open pittable and some very high grade underground. So I think lots of joy to come from the Trapper target yet. This is just some of the geophysics. We've done a lot of geophysics on the project, and you can see where the gold mineralization lies. It's in these high gradient zones. You can see here mapped out, and I just circled a bunch of little targets that have some other cross structures that may be worth poking some holes in. So lots of targets to chase on this target. 600-700 meters within a 4-kilometer long gold geochem anomaly. So lots of room to play here and find more high grade gold. And then just shifting gears to the copper, because when you look at the gold, we have a similar map for gold here, but it's a smaller footprint. But when you look at the copper, it's got a really large footprint on the copper, and we're looking at copper and rocks here, soils and silts. From tip to tip from the northwest southeast, it's 80 kilometers. So we have an 80-kilometer porphyry trend. We truly have a district, and I would argue that we've got more than one mineral system. We probably have multiple porphyry mineral systems. And what was interesting this last season is that we found this new area called Catalyst, which is further up. If you can see my green laser pointer. So the Camp Creek porphyry discovery, which we're going to talk a little bit about in a second. But if you follow this corridor to the northeast, we see multiple porphyry-style mineralization at surface. And Catalyst is exciting because we're seeing porphyry-style mineralization at surface, never had boots on the ground ever. And what's interesting is where the Camp Creek porphyry, it took us 10 years to find that porphyry because it didn't stick out of the ground. It was actually a blind discovery that we finally got onto it 10 years later. And now we're drilling 1,500 meter holes into a big block cave, which I'm going to show you in a second. But the point is, this Catalyst looks like Camp Creek style mineralization, perhaps a different phase, but at surface. So that's going to get some work on it this year. And then the other one that's kind of interesting to me is this one way out here in the east called Sentinel. And it's called Sentinel because we actually found it through satellite alteration data, Sentinel Aster alteration multispectral data. It lit up and it came in as one of the highest ranking targets. So we put a grid on it. And it came back with a good Molly anomaly. The copper was so-so. But then we went out and put boots on the ground on it, and we saw this, wow, look at all these porphyry-style veins here sticking out of the ground. No vegetation, it's effectively flat, a rock exposed, never had a drill hole on it. So that's been mapped out at 50-meter grid with porphyry-style quartz veining and ready to drill this year. So stay tuned for potentially a couple new discoveries. Of course, how many more discoveries do we need before this thing is $1 billion cap? I don't know, but we're certainly working hard to get there. So this is the Camp Creek porphyry. There's been a lot of drilling on here. In fact, this actually goes back to 1952 Cominco discovery. And everybody that's been on this project, there's probably over a dozen companies that worked this before Brixton got involved in 2010, because there's a really intense alteration in the Camp Creek corridor, and everybody was chasing these high-grade veins and breccia zones, and so were we. And then until we started drilling a little bit deeper, sorry if I just back up there, we actually drilled, we tried to go to 1 kilometer. We got a little bit gun shy. We got down to 829, but we drilled this hole 150 that gave us 550 meters of a % copper equivalent, including 136 of 2.5. So that really gave us confidence because we started to see mineralized porphyry fragments in the diatreme breccia zone. And then it wasn't really till 21 till we actually stepped over and drilled hole 184 and 183, which is this angled hole, down to 1,200 meters. And we legitimately made a blind porphyry discovery. And then we've now got about 18 deep holes into this thing. But these are $1 million holes, so in a $6 million budget, I think we're going to defer this to a later date. I don't think we've hit the best mineralization yet on this target, but we're talking about a kilometer by kilometer block here with 18 holes in it. So if anybody knows porphyry exploration, it takes a lot more holes to get the joy. We've been reasonably successful on it. What's interesting, though, about this target is, like a lot of these shallow holes that have been drilling, we actually had a pretty interesting gold hit close to surface, 26 meters of almost 2 grams. And so we're going to be maybe following up on some of these easy pickings at surface here just to see if we can tie together some of these veins. So with that, I think I'm running out of time. So I want to thank you. Just in summary, we've got a massive block. We've got a big potential for copper gold porphyry. So stay tuned for some numbers coming out of Brixton this year. And I want to thank you for your attention.